Walk us through, because I know that you've set up this idea of like packages or plan one or plan two to systematize your flips. And then you went even further and then hired someone for leverage. Walk us through both of those things.
Yeah. So, everything for me is the concept of how do I get better? The only way to get better is I got to fall over something. And so my team actually gets surprised by me. So I have an executive assistant. She gets kind of surprised sometimes because I get really excited when there's a big problem. And I get really excited when there's like this massive hurdle to jump over, to go through. If there's a brick wall that's burning and we got to run through the brick wall, somehow I'm super excited. And she'll sometimes say to me like, Cody, like, what makes you excited about this? And I say, well, we have this massive opportunity to go learn something and then create a system around it. So the way I look at it is you go flip your first home, it's going to be a cluster F no matter what you do, right? And you're going to think that because you're like, man, I had to get a garage door guy in and I got to get a plumber and I got to get an electrician in. And now all of a sudden, there's all these weird little things. And we had to get the grass cut 14 different times and the landscaping didn't come out well. And the appliances got sent with a dent in it. And you start like hyperventilating.
Yes.
And you sell the property. You go make $50, $60, $70, $80,000. You had this big smile on your face. You go buy a boat. No, I'm just kidding. And you have this profit. And now you go do it again. And you have two opportunities now, or two choices. And you have like these two roads. And road number one is I did well and it works. That's the hustler mindset. Like I'll hustle through it, I'll push through it, and I'll run through it again, just like I did the last time. And then you have the other opportunity, like the businessman. And the businessman road is, okay, let's take a step back. Let's go through, okay, what are the 47 different things we needed in this home? Let's write them down. Did we do them in the right order or did we do them in the wrong order? Could I put a system, a process, or a person in here? Did we try to save money, but then do it 3 times? Like I ask myself these questions, like when we're trying to save money in something, am I saving money at the cost of something else?
Wow.
Or is this the right thing? And so when you do that in your business, now you can figure out what's next. So what happened was we said, okay, you know what? We need an intake form. So we walked to the property and the next step was my assistant videotaping me through the property. So I have all these videos. This is before I even put videos out on social media of me walking through a property and they're 20 to 30 minutes long. And it's me saying, in this corner, I want to do this. And in this corner, I want to do this. And let's do this. And let's do this. Because what's happening before is this was just like, I was like, well, why isn't this like I said it was? And they're like, you didn't say it like that. And whether it be the contractor, my assistant, myself, like we didn't remember things, right? And so we had to start like actually writing it down. And so we came up with like a scope of work, which is just like an intake based off of a video. So we do the video, we sat down, we transcribe the video into an intake. We then fill out the intake. Based off of that, that's what our scope of work is, which we can then present to a contractor.
Love it.
And it sounds simple. And if you're listening to this, you're like, well, no shit. Yeah, but like you buy a property, you get really excited. Next thing you know, dumpster shows up. Next thing you know, you're swinging a hammer. Next thing you know, other people start working on things and everything's going backwards and you're doing your plumbing after you did your drywall. So you got to rip out the drywall and it just gets wild, quick and super expensive. And you spend an extra 20 grand for no reason because you did everything 4 times.
And what you're almost taking for granted when you said, yeah, no shit, is that you're building a system and a model that makes this replicatable and scalable. And I want that for our listeners to be hearing right now, that the more that you can, how do I make this a system, a process, a model that's replicatable and scalable becomes one of the most important things for the longevity. Otherwise, you do exactly what you just said, and you're swinging a hammer, or, no joke, we forgot to stub in the water line, and we had already poured the foundation because someone didn't follow the checklist that was put into place. So not only is it like putting the checklist into place, it's inspecting what you expect and getting everyone to follow the process. Otherwise, things just get done out of order. It just happens.
And I think that on top of that, though, Alex Hormozi has this quote, and it's like, again, I'm not sitting here with written down quotes in front of me, so you're gonna have to hold my hand through this. But Alex Hormozi has this quote that says something in the scheme of like, you're not going to make the most amount of money from your first business, but you're going to learn the most amount from your first business and you're going to go make a ton of money in your second business. And when I read that the first time, I was like, ooh, that's good.
It's hot.
So now if you're a real estate agent and you have a real estate team, we have broken our teeth. We have smiled through the worst stuff in the world. We have served people a plate of food that they absolutely hated, even though we worked our asses off on. We have done everything to become a business person, right?
Yes.
Now you take all that knowledge and you become the buyer and you become the investor and you become the businessman. And what comes next is insane profits because we've taken everything we've learned from the previous business, which if we're a realtor, which I assume a good amount of people listening here might be, we get this opportunity to take all that knowledge, transcribe it into a business that's pretty much the exact same. You don't need to learn anything new for, and make insane amounts of money.